Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Becoming a Powerhouse Brand podcast. I am very excited today. I've literally given myself a 15-minute window to record this before I have a phone call. I was going to do it afterwards, and I thought, no, because I want to make this episode a really short, sharp, snappy episode just to give somebody a bit of a boost today, to have a bit of a reset in your energy, and also just to give you a bit of an insight into things that I currently do. Now, as you know, that I've been really investing heavily into my energetic alignment, into really tapping into what feels good for me, excuse the notifications in the background, um, and just learning all the different approaches in terms of scaling with soul. So I practice what I preach. I do not tell any of my clients or advise anything to my clients that's not something I've personally done. So whether it is they want to get more visibility, and that means speaking on stages or getting featured in the press or hosting a live workshop, or trying to think of other things like just being on multiple platforms. That is everything that I've done. Like, I literally do all of the work. I live and breathe this work so that I can help my clients in a way that feels really good to them, from a place of knowing. Like, I know how the different platforms perform. I know how to do all of the things that my clients want to be able to do. It doesn't mean that I do it consistently, but I have experience in it so that I'm able to support them in the best way possible. Now, for me, well, and for everybody, is when you are scaling a business. I talked about this in a recent episode where I talk about how scaling is actually a really challenging part of business, because when you're growing, you have access to so much information in terms of like growing your business, in terms of automation, in terms of scaling your system structures, how you run your business, how you launch, all of those different things. But when it comes to taking things up a level, when you already know all the business foundations, it really is about shifting your identity and becoming that sort of more aligned next level version of you. And I talk about next level version of you a lot, but it really is a case of you becoming the most confident, most aligned version of who you truly are. It's about stripping back those layers so that you can show up as your true self. Because what has happened is we are conditioned through our childhood, even through our working career, through our adulthood, into performing or behaving a certain way because that is what's deemed as acceptable. And so often you can hear things like, no, don't do that, don't do that, that's not polite, don't do this, that's not the way it's done. And you hear that enough times that you actually start almost becoming a different version of yourself, like a hidden version of yourself. And you've just got all this rubbish that is just thrown at you left, right, and center of like, this is how you should behave, not just be who you are. Like, as long as you're a nice human being, you can be whoever you are, you can express yourself in all these different ways. Obviously, there are more people that are doing this work now where they are practicing just really tapping into who they really are. And that is a long process for a lot of people. It's been a long process for myself, like really understanding who I am on a soul level and what I'm here to do, what lights me up, and understanding my soul's mission. And I've done years, I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for 9 years now. So I have done all the work in terms of like creating your vision. What are your goals? What are your values? Like, doing all of that work. It's the same thing in every program you join where you do that work. But for me, what has allowed everything to shift in all areas of my life and business has been really understanding myself on a deep level. It's been taking myself away from my business. That doesn't mean like switching off and going quiet anywhere. It just means like mentally stepping back and really focusing on me. So doing things like meditation, hypnosis, um, giving myself and my brain that quiet to really get to know who I am and what I'm here to do without all the external noise. So literally switching off, not like for days or weeks on end, but just for moments in my day where I can just switch off from all the noise, all the external stuff that you're bombarded with. Because the second we look at a screen, we have information overload. We literally are thrown sponsored ads, messaging. This is what you should be doing. This is why this isn't working for you. And you've just got so much overwhelm in the online space that actually you need to be able to step back and really tap into, but what is right for me. And one thing that I have noticed, that has taken me a long time to realize, because I very much followed the path of what I saw as being successful. And there was obviously so many different forms of success, but I believed, because it's what I saw everybody else doing, that I needed to have a course that was completely passive income that was allowing me to scale my business to create more time. Like that is an incredible way to scale your business. If you've got a course, if you've got a membership where you've got like hundreds, thousands of people in there that is literally bringing you in that consistent income. So that's kind of the route that I was going down in my business. But every single time I launched anything like that, there was something in me. And it wasn't like a fear of the unknown. It was literally something didn't feel right for me. Um, Now, as someone who is really heart-led, I'm an empath, like I really champion my clients. Like my clients become my friends because I want to get to know them on a deeper level. Like I really want to know who they are so that I can support them with showing up with confidence, with being their most aligned version of who they are. Um, for me, having a course right now in my business just doesn't actually feel aligned to me because I want to get to personally know all of my clients. So if I had 100 people in my program, I would not be able to know all of those people personally. Like I just wouldn't have the mental capacity or like the space to be able to get to know that many people. But that is kind of the direction I was trying to take my business because that's how you scale. That's how you're taught by so many people that is what you do. You need to get more people in. That's going to help you create more income. All of these things. But actually, because I'm somebody that is so impact driven, I want to know that every single person that comes into my world to work with me in whatever capacity that may be is going to get results. And the thing that I didn't like about courses is being a bit of a control freak myself, I had no control over people signing up to things and completing it. So I have had courses in the past that actually did quite like trigger me quite a lot because I would get people that would sign up to them and never even look at module one. So they would literally invest in themselves to say, yes, I want this thing, I'm going to get that course, and never even open module one. Now, that to me was really quite triggering because I then felt uncomfortable that I'd essentially taken somebody's money and they clearly wouldn't have got the results because they hadn't even done the program. And that's definitely a limiting belief thing that I need to work on. But it's also an identity thing for me. Like, I want all of my clients to get results. My clients do all get results when they work with me because that is like, I make that my mission to make that happen. Like, every single one of my clients gets results because that is like I don't put them first, so I would put me first. But I want to see my clients win because obviously if they win, they get to go and impact more people in a bigger capacity. And it gives me that really good, like feel good feeling that I have made such an impact in somebody that has then gone on to make an impact in other people. Like I'm so impact driven, and that ripple effect to me lights me up way more than making a shed load of money from a course that people may or may not do. So for me, just the integrity side of things and just what feels really aligned to me at this season in my business, I talk about seasons all the time. And I feel like I almost in some ways stepped back in business purely because I then reined in my courses I had. I literally pulled them so you can't access them anymore. So the only ways to work with me are in my group program or to work with me one to one. That's literally it. They're the only ways to work with me. And then obviously you've got free content on my YouTube channel, my podcast, my social media content that I share. That is the way that you're going to be able to get access to me for free, or you invest in working with me and you get access to me. That to me right now feels good. And this is what I talk about when I talk about soul aligned scaling in your business, because it has to feel good in your soul. Like I am a sacral generator. So for me, it has to feel really good in my sacral. If I get that hell yes, that full body, like, oh my God, yes, this feels exciting. And it might be a nervous excitement, but that then indicates to me that it is an absolute yes. If anything feels slightly off, or if it's a maybe, it has to be a no, because otherwise it is not fully aligned to what it is that I'm calling in right now. Now, when I talk about seasons, I want to be really crystal clear here that this is just where I'm currently at in my business. And it has taken me multiple launches of other things, doing the courses, doing this sort of like scaling with like huge numbers and everything, and it not feeling right internally for me to realize that actually that's not aligned for me right now. That's not to say that 5 years down the line, I won't have a course with like 1,000 people in, because we are consistently and constantly of evolving as individuals. And the more I do this sort of identity shifting work and really tap into who I am becoming, because it's never a complete process. Building your personal brand, becoming you, is never going to be a complete process because you are always going to be changing. Your life circumstances are always going to be changing, whether it is you've got kids and they're at a different level. So, like at the moment, all three of my kids are now in full-time education. Like that wasn't the case a few weeks ago. So, this is a whole new season for me. Equally, in a few years' time, we'll be looking at, well, in a couple of years' time, even, we'll be potentially looking at secondary schools or perhaps even homeschooling. So again, I'll be in a very different season. And that will mean that things will look differently in terms of how I want to run my business, how I want to lead. And it's giving ourselves permission to make those pivots, to make those changes, to lead by example, and be that sort of the soul aligned leader that our audience, that our clients need in our lives. Because when you lead with soul, with what is a lot fully aligned to you, it not only feels really good to you, but you are going to have the frequency that makes you absolutely magnetic for the right people. Now, as you shift and change, you will lose people. There will be people that don't come along into the next stage or the next season of your business because they're no longer aligned to what you're creating. That is just part of growth. But as long as you are leading with integrity, with soul, with the aligned actions that feel really good to you, that are fully lighting you up in a way that you're just like living your best business and life, that is the most important thing, because you cannot please everybody. If you stay small because of fear of, but I might lose those people, but actually there's something internally that's saying that this no longer feels exciting, this no longer is lighting me up. It's the reason why you will see leaders that have huge communities that will just decide to close them down, because it's no longer about the money that that's making. It's about it no longer feeling in alignment to what it is they're here to create, that they are moving on to that next thing. So I want you to really understand that when you are scaling your business, it is, when you're scaling your entire brand, essentially, it really is about tapping into who you are becoming and holding the frequency of that next level version of you. So when you think about, okay, if there is something in your business right now that doesn't feel good to you, that is not lighting you up, what could you change? Is it something that is literally, you just feel, if there's something in you that is saying, I no longer want to do this thing, is there some way you could change it? Or is it something that just needs to go as part of your next chapter? And I can tell you now, the fear of closing that thing down that maybe feels really uncomfortable is horrible. I've been there before, and you overthink everything, you worry about letting people down. But when you make that decision and you lead with soul and integrity, and you make that decision to move on and allow yourself space to do the things that really do light you up, that feel really good to you, that is when you can create absolute magic. And the space, the capacity that is going to open up for you in your like in your aura, in everything around you, is going to be so game changing. You literally will start to attract the things that you're calling in, but you can't be holding on to any ties that you feel are pulling you back, that are causing that resistance. So if there is anything in your current life, in your offers, that are feeling like they're draining your energy, what can you do to shift that? How could you adjust it? And it could be, perhaps you're someone that's listening to this that has a membership, as an example, and you're just feeling there's something off about it. There's something that is draining your energy. You feel like you're giving your all. The clients that are in there are paying your lowest amount, because normally with a membership, it is your lowest investment, but it's just taking up so much headspace for you. What could you adjust in there to make it work better for you? Could you reduce the amount of times you're going into that community? Could you make it sort of where you're only posting a couple of times a week in there? Could you get a VA that will support you with running your membership? Is it something that you actually do want to come away from completely, or change to a different platform? Like, what could you do to change it to make it work? Or does it feel really like it's just no longer aligned to where you're going? In which case, then it's making that decision of, okay, I know this is what I need to be doing now. How can I make this work in the best way possible? And it might be that you make that decision, and it might be you owe people refunds, or you invite them into something else that you're creating that does excite you. And the majority of the time, when that is the case, people will want to come with you. They'll want to be those first people into your next thing that you're doing because they've already been in your world. They've already experienced what it's like to work with you. So I want you to take this opportunity today in this very mini episode to really sit back and readjust with what are you currently doing right now? What feels good or what would feel good that you can maybe start implementing? And what do you feel is holding you back in your business, in your life? What is causing that resistance that is holding you back from moving forward? Because I really want you to be able to kind of spread your wings, so to speak, so that you can really scale into that next level. Because if there is any resistance there that is holding you back, it is going to make achieving those goals on your vision board so much harder to achieve, and it's going to take you longer to get there. When you make these quick decisions, I don't mean quick decisions as in like you're just going to, like, I'm just going to shut it down, let's just do it now. Think about it, do it the right way, but in a way that it's like you're literally cutting those ties and moving forward. It's literally like as soon as you cut those ties, you're going to feel yourself propel forward energetically, so that you're then opening up space to create that next level, the next season of what it is you're here to do, the impact you're here to lead with. It's so powerful when you do this work. And sometimes we're so sucked into consistently going ahead with holding on to things that we've been doing because it's what we're known for, or but this is my best-selling thing, or this is what people want from me right now, or people can't afford my high ticket program, like whatever it is, those beliefs that you have, if you can then work on rewiring those limiting beliefs, or what's the opposite of those limiting beliefs that will allow you to see, but by removing this thing or changing it slightly, is going to allow me to propel myself and my business forward, which will allow me to lead in a whole new capacity. That is the leadership role that you are here to create, that you're here to lead with. So I hope this episode today has given you some kind of little insight into seeing, okay, yeah, this thing has not felt right for me in my business or in my life for a little while now. I'm going to give myself half an hour today to just sit down, journal on it, think about it, visualize like what I actually want from my business, what I want from my life. Does this feel aligned to me, or is it time to let go of something that's been holding me back? I would love to know if you've had any key takeaways from this. If you feel like there is something in your business or in your life that you already know, and this episode has just given you that reminder that actually it is time to kind of let that thing go now, send me a message, because I would just love to hear from you to see what you're doing, and have a conversation with you about it. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll be back for another episode next week. Have a beautiful day, beautiful soul. Mwah.